Happy Third Rail Thursday. Good evening, everybody. We're starting a little bit early here. We won't get into anything big. Not that there's anything big to get into, but welcome. I am your host for this wonderful Thursday night, Dave Coe. And I need to mute my iPad so I don't hear myself twice. So you guys don't hear myself twice. Welcome, everybody. James, Wigwag, what up? Brian, Dwight was here earlier. Mark was here earlier. Don't know if they're still around. Hey, everybody. Welcome. This month has 5 Thursdays. So I am stepping in to cover and making a nice guest appearance as I tend to do. Currently, we're looking at my Bowser RS3 with lock sound. Runs awesome. Really trying not to purchase another one because I just don't have the room. But man, it's awesome. And I'm tempted. Tuna Can Express. I had bacon earlier. I actually I worked overnight, like last night, from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. And I had some breakfast after that. And then I came home. I went to the dump and hung out with my mom. And then I took a nap, just a short one. Got up, cleaned up, got dinner started, went, switched into Dadco mode. And now I'm here. Just did some bedtime. Chris, how's it going? Welcome. So yeah, we are just kind of winging it, and by kind of I mean completely winging it, like always, because I never have a plan for this stuff. I do want to show off a little something, nothing crazy, just something to come. I was gonna try to work on it during the stream, but I don't think I'm gonna get a good camera angle while I'm working. It's kind of an awkward area. I'll show you in a little bit once we get past 8 o'clock here. There's Mark. He's still here, or he came back. Hey, Mark. Tomorrow, I gotta say, I've stepped back from YouTube and just watching train stuff on YouTube. Well, I guess watching YouTube in general, but I always love a good Thursday night because tomorrow's Friday, and that's so exciting. The potential for the weekend is here. And whether you've got plans, no plans, a lot of the time it's pretty good. Unless you work the weekend, that sucks. I'm sorry about that. Speaking of working, I'm on call, not primary. So the way my on call works, I guess I don't really talk about this. Maybe I've mentioned this on a live show before, but I do kind of it's kind of 2 weeks on, 4 weeks off, but the first week is what we call primary, and that's direct calls from the users. So I tend to get a lot of calls. Then the second week is the secondary on call. I'm a network administrator, so any specific calls about network issues then come to me, which knock on wood here, is fairly rare. Unless something big happens. So Mark never left. Figures. I think he's my biggest fan, even above my mom and my wife. But anyways, so I am secondary on call covering for a coworker tonight. But if it comes to that, I will let everybody know, and I'll probably have to end the stream a little bit early, but it, again, knock on wood, likely will not come to that. So on that note, it is 8:01. So welcome. It's Wigbag, it's so funny the amount of times I've had like a days without a page And then, like I'll crawl into bed and I'll it'll be late and I'll get bad sleep, or my son will be, sick, and I'll be tired. And I'll just think to myself, like, please don't get a page, and I'll like mention it to my wife, be like, man, I hope I don't get a page tonight. And then like the phone rings every time. So, hey, Fred, welcome. Roger, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, Third Rail Thursdays. We got 15 people in the chat. All right, let's since it's 8:02 now, let's get this train running. I'm a bad dude. This is still address 03. I have the technology to change it. I just have not. I just honestly, I have been running trains a little bit. Let's get this going here. Oh yeah. I don't know if I ever showed a close up of my is that doing that thing? I might have to change my browser. Let's just find out. I'm just gonna. Oh no, that's pretty good. Okay, that's fine. I custom built this coach. I don't know if I really have shown it off. Let's bring it over to the station, and I'll kind of tell the story about what happened and how I got into passengers. Just a note that, of course, this double signal here is going to be changed out. I know it's not prototypical. Initially, and I know this is totally separate from the passenger thing. I'll get there. I think, like, in my mind, I was like, oh, it's great because it controls, the bottom signal controls the turnout position, and then the top is determined by switches. And to me, that made perfect sense. And I think initially I wasn't super concerned with prototypical running because it's such a small layout. But hey, Ironwood, welcome to the stream. Hello. So I wasn't really concerned with prototypical running or anything like that. But after I've kind of convinced myself otherwise over the years, I'm trying my best to at least make it believable, maybe somewhere in the middle. May not be perfect, realistic, prototypical, but believable is what my goal is. So I've had the signals for like a year, maybe. It's been a hot minute since I ordered those, but I just haven't put them in, and I think it's because let's slow this bad boy down. Holy cow! Let's just creep up to the station, show off this. I'll just move the camera. Yeah, I think it's the Atlas signals. They have such small wires and so finicky. What are we doing here? There we go. Sorry, it was on camera mode, so I don't know what I just took a picture, I guess. So I plan to do that eventually anyway, to put these onto only single spotlights. But here's the coach. So this is not the coach I started with. I guess it was last year because they didn't have the Arm Power Train show this year, or they're not. It was last year. I took my son to the Arm Power Train show, met with Chris and Mark. I saw Bubs. I saw Perry. I forget who else I saw, or maybe that was it. And had a great time. I actually went the Saturday, and then I brought my son the Sunday. And I eyed up some passenger coaches. It was an old River Aussie, and it was a 6-axle. And I thought, I always had this, like, maybe I could introduce passenger services to the layout idea. And, which is funny because I've always been so stuck on freight. But I eyed it up when it was there Saturday. So by the time it was Sunday and it still was there, I think it was like $15. It wasn't expensive. So I bought it. And I brought it home, and to my shock, because they're not exactly the most realistic looking coaches, they took the curves. And so what I did is I body mounted some couplers, and I had to modify the coupler boxes to swing at a bigger angle by cutting out part of the sides of the coupler box. And Mark says James was there dressed as a hot dog. I don't remember that, Mark, but oh man, maybe it's all that poutine we didn't eat at the fry only truck. Anyways, so I modified the coupler boxes. I put metal wheels on it, and it ran. I got it running really good, actually. It ran just as good as anything else on the layout. No derails, no uncoupler issues, and I was really happy with it. But it was too long, and it looked too awkward, and because of that, I built the extension on the yard, which, for anybody who hasn't seen that, I'll show it off here in a little bit, but also go check out my latest update video, because I actually released another update video after a year. That's true. I was so torn when I bought it. It was like I was betraying everything I stood for. Whatever. It's fine. It didn't burst into flames as soon as it touched the rails on my layout, so that was always a good sign. Oh, applewood smoked poutine. That sounds awesome. That sounds like something I would eat. Yeah, I like what you're laying down there, Wig. Anyways, to get back on my tangent, it was okay. I ended up buying the stations, one of which we're stopped at now, and it was just too awkward. Now, of course, I saw these express boxcars from Mainline, and I inquired about them, and he was like, they're not really for sale. And I was like, okay. And then he ended up sending them to me anyway. Oh, the tripod. Oh no, guys, hold on. Oh, that's okay. Happens to everybody when the tripod can't stay up. Anyways, so I got these two new express boxcars, and they look good. And oh, hey, John, welcome to the stream. John Trains BFGR. Mark, that's true. And I think the year before we went to the chip truck, and we were like, oh, let's get some poutine, and they only sold fries. So poor Mark never gets what he truly wants. Ooh, 4 CPF 2s. Oh, I'll have to. Do you have a video? Do you have a video of those out? I'll have to check your channel. What scheme are they in? Jeez. Hey, John Garvin, welcome. I'm just telling the story about how I got into passenger service on the layout. So, recap, went to a train show last year, picked a 6-axle River Aussie CP coach, like same maroon scheme, up for like $15, kind of retrofitted it to work on my layout. Looked super awkward, but it worked. So I kind of started the process of adding stations. I've got 3 stations on the layout, and I've got kind of a storage area for the passenger coach now. But I was on eBay, and I found this. This is a old Athearn like blue box model, I believe. And I got it. It was shorter. It's shorter. It's still quite long for my layout, but it fits in much better. I don't know a lot about passenger cars, maybe, but I don't think there were any like 40. I think this is like a 60-foot maybe. But I don't think there were any 40 or 50-foot coaches back in like Canadian Pacific CP rail scheme. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'll try to hunt those down. Hey, Sparky, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. But so I bought this off eBay and put it together, and I lost one of the roof vents. But usually that would like ruin things for me. But instead, I actually made this little patch, and then I weathered everything up and weathered the trucks up and put, KDs on it. And I'd like to get some of the the accordion, whatever you call them. Like, I don't deal with passenger nearly enough to remember, like the go between the doors. See, 60 foot, yeah. See, 60 foot still just, I think that's what this might be anyway, but it just feels, like with my layout, 40 looks good. 50 looks pretty decent too, on the 15-inch radius curves. But like the coach, even this coach is just a smidge long, but I let it slide. Who cares? Anyways, so yeah, this is getting a slushy machine. Ooh. I have an ice cream machine, and I've wanted to use it for so long. I did use it once way back in the day, and just not that long ago, I was like, why aren't we making our own ice cream? I love milkshakes. Pro tip, vanilla ice cream, but with chocolate milk. Oh, chef's kiss, guys. Like Gordon Ramsay style milkshake right there. Anyways, I went to make ice cream, and it takes you have to mix everything and then leave it overnight, and that's too much work. Same with making my own bread. I love homemade bread. My wife makes really great homemade bread. I've made some homemade bread, and it's good. I love it. But making it and waiting, no, not happening, guys. Not happening. Anyways, so that's how I got into passenger service, and this is the new passenger coach that I got and weathered, and it looks pretty good. So I usually pull it around with one of the express box cars and the caboose, and just say, the express box car is a male. Again, I'm not looking for prototypical. I'm looking for believable. So it's Mark, you're so true. Why is that? I always get into food every time. It's it is a passion. I love to cook. I love to eat. So it's something I do often in my life. It's bound to come up, right? I think we can all agree a good meal, really helps us out. Let's be honest. Bacon, yeah. Anyways, let's get this going. And while this is cruising, let's show you the big new project. The big new project. Here we go. Off that goes. Yeah, this Bowser RS3 runs like mint. All right, so let's see if I can get you a decent camera angle. I might have to just hold the camera. Maybe that's what I'll do, and I'll just use this monopod here. All right. So, let's take you over here. Here's the plan, guys. Right now, let's take this out. I just have a right-hand, it's a right-hand switch coming into this kind of spur. And now that I have another locomotive, that beast running around. Oh, focus, please. Thank you. Now that I have that beast cruising, I need room. I don't have enough room. So I'm going to make this a dedicated locomotive track. I have that for my new industry here. It's like a leased locomotive. I plan to rotate them depending on the schedule. But you know, that's still Chris. We got to talk. I forgot to reach out to you, man. We gotta hook up on that because I'd love to have this industry built. But I've got like a leased locomotive, so you know the main line comes in and drops off and empties. Like there's an empty here right now. And so it can switch and do the loaded. And then once the loaded consist is ready, the main line basically comes and grabs it and drops off more empties. Like it just kind of keeps going. And I had the thought that I could add some more space by putting a double slip here. So it's going to go, you know, approximately, I'm going to have to cut it to fit correctly. But, you know, something like that. And then I'll rejig this. I like it. It's sharp because you can actually add more cars. But the nice thing is I'm going to gain a little bit more space with the throw bar of the double slip being further out than the original right-hand switch. See, it's just up a little bit, you know, maybe an inch, but that gives me a lot of room for 40-foot cars and whatnot. So it's going to come here, something like that. So that lines up pretty good. And then this, well, okay, what do you guys think? I've got the flex track here, but straight, or should it come over and follow the curve here? I don't know what I'm going to do. Like with this, there's just no space for a building. But I totally could fit like a little Pike stuff building here. But I could, you know, I probably could fit it here too, but it's just going to be harder if it's curved. So I was thinking just, what if I do straight or even like curved slightly and then straight and right there. And then I could have, maybe I was thinking like a parking lot here. And then maybe I don't know what I'm doing here. Like maybe if I have it, a parking lot and a crossing, I was thinking maybe a crossing, like back here or something, just right off the layout. I haven't been checking the comments because I'm holding the camera. So hold on. Hard no to couple on a curve. So that's the only thing. It's not going to be used for cars. It's going to be used as just like a locomotive only track. So although that is a good point and something to consider, Mark, it may not be a thing. Drop it by Chris. That would be awesome. Yeah, we'll hook up. I'll buy you like a lunch or a dinner, to trade for it. But yeah. So what do you think? Straight, curved? I guess. Yeah, I'd have to see what building. I don't know, but that's the plan. So hold on, I've got some flex track we can put down. Of course, I have cork. I just didn't have, so I had to buy a whole piece of flex track for. Let this guy go by. Okay, so straight would be something like that, which I don't think looks bad, right? Especially because you could have the building and then a small parking lot with a crossing right there. I could probably fit it in, right? Or let's see if I can do this with one hand. Probably not. Or like, you know, slightly curved, something like that. Which it does look good too, but again, then it's harder to put a building on, right? And because I'm not going to have a building on this guy, I kind of like the idea of like just a small shop. You know what I mean? Because this is Dwayne's Junction up here, right? It services the three industries. This is McBain. Is this McBain moving? Or I forget. I named this after my dad, and I just have to look at my notes. And that's Granny Gladys's, and that's CRC Machine Works. So I've got three industries here to manage. And then last but not least, let's see if I can curve this all the way for you. I might have to like pin it, but if I start here, hold on. It's hard with just me because I'm not using the tripod. Something like that. That's like fully curved. I don't, seeing that, I don't like it. It's either going to be partially curved or just straight. I don't like the full curve. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't like that full curve. Okay, I'm gonna put this back in the tripod and get back on the comments, guys. Sorry. There we go. Here's a look at that yard expansion. Ugh. So, comes off. I added a switch here, comes off. Added a double slip, so you get another call like a row, which is nice. A little bit more storage. Okay, sorry. Comments. Curved, you can fit. Hey, Floyd. I just keep finding areas to add stuff. Like I really like that's the thing, right? Because I also increase this to a two car thing, and this is just a smidge. If I really had it in me, if I really did, I would. Oh, that's a good shot. Hold on. Look at that. Look at that shot. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, guys. Like this is the hobby, I would move those retaining walls back like an inch, half an inch. And that way I could it's so tight here. Hold on. Like when you use this as a passing siding, it's like this has to be all the way back and it's still so like I don't know. John, RS3. I'm loving this. This is the new Bowser one. Like I would recommend. It's gorgeous. It's running like perfect. It's really nice. All my stuff is Bowser except for the Steam engines. Those are Proto 2000s. I don't have room for another module. I wish, but I just don't. Although, I mean, I've always had the thought of a true module, basically like some kind of turnout off this curve, and because I can't do the other curve because it's an incline, but almost something off here, and then have like a clip-on module, or I even talked about putting a diamond in here and having this spur come across, and then again having this clip-on module so that what you could do is whoever is servicing this, they kind of get locked in, but you could angle it, right? Oh, I better stop talking. I'm giving myself ideas. I heavily thought of that, but I think a curved diamond would be tough. Yeah, a cassette mark. Yeah, that's what they call them. Yeah, exactly. And it could just be for, like, it could even just be for staging, right? It doesn't need scenery. It could be, I want to say the outside world, but how I'd say it is it would be the working rail barge, right? Again, I'm not looking for prototypical, but because this is an island, and I know islands typically don't have railroads. I get that. And right now, there's not really a way. Like technically, this industry here is the outside world. Yeah. Well, actually, you know, this industry is the outside world because there is a road bridge, just not a train bridge to the island. So goods are dropped off via truck, and my son has parked this one. He loves coming down here. I've been bringing my son. He's just over 3, and he loves coming down here and watching the trains. And it's so much fun. He definitely wants to touch things, and he's gotten a hold of some of the trucks, but he's pretty good, to be honest. I can't complain. And sorry, my phone just rang, but it wasn't working. Anyways, he gets a hold of the trucks. He likes this yellow truck really. I let him sit on my chair and I wheel him from area to area to watch the train go by, and he just loves it. But this industry is technically the outside world, and it's snail storage and transfer. And basically, I don't have my lights on here. External lights, building lights. I could do dimmer building lights, but we'll do building lights. So technically this is the outside, staging, but I don't know. I think I'm just looking for excuses to add more switching as I'm kind of addicted to. And, that would give me another even if it's one track, it's something. Who am I kidding? It'd have to be 2 tracks. Let's face it. I'm not go big or go home. Mark, especially when somebody just says, don't touch that. Some CN locomotives definitely visit. Mark has brought in, I think was it a SW9 Mark, I want to say, or a 1000 maybe. Chris had he lent me his GP9 from Walthers when that came out. The long nose, the chop nose one. What is that? The GP9N or M? I can't remember. I think we tried a few. My brother-in-law brought over. He has a bunch of the President's Choice, the Meccano. I think they are. And I think he had like the 10-wheeler. He had the Hudson, which is CP, but the 10-wheeler CN. He has a Norfolk Southern GP9. Everything's DC except his GP9 has DCC. It ran not bad, but it doesn't have a current keeper. 5 containers, eh? I kind of like the look of the containers and the just sitting there, but I just don't have enough room for that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of, I don't know, me more. And see, I have a shelf here. So I also, another project that I have is I bought 2 more tortoises, and I bought the remote mounting with them, which was an accident. I actually had the remote mounting because I'm really, really fighting the urge to make those into tortoises. Only because it's not that they're hard to reach. Sorry, guys, cameras all over the place. It's not that they're hard to reach. It's just when you reach, a lot of people will hit the reversing switch sensor right here. And there's stuff, I don't hit it, but I mean, it's my layout. I'm used to it. So I'm tempted to put tortoise there, but that is going to be almost impossible. I'm going to tell you, I put a tortoise with the remote throw for the new expansion. And it was the most difficult part of the layout I think I've ever had to do. If I was doing that, like if I was building it from scratch, like if I ever rebuild a layout, I'm putting them in. Like when you build it, retrofitting is no fun. You can't even see that. Yeah, it's this switch here, and it controls the signal as well. But it was, I put it in because I can at the time, and I really can't anymore because of the double slip. That's kind of a cool shot. We'll wait till it comes around the corner. Because of the double slip, I can reach everything. Actually, I can even reach the double slip from sitting. And I usually cheese it and use the handle of the uncoupler. So I don't even have to get up to switch the entire industry other than that that mainline switch. And now I have the turnout, the tortoise, and it works great with that kit. Like I love the kit, but there's plywood directly underneath, only enough to have the other track. Like where, because this was all meant for N scale. I didn't build this for HO. Right. So again, I retrofitted it and it works great. Honestly, like really no complaints other than to install the remote mounting hardware. Like this is the workspace. I can't even get my hand in there properly. So that was by far the most difficult project I've had to do. I don't know how. Dude, I remember. I 100% remember. I remember calling you on that day, Chris. It was it had just rained and it was a Sunday. And my wife and I were going hiking. But I'd stayed up all night the night before, just thinking about it and trying to starting to research about it. And I remember calling you up and just being like, I gotta come back to HO. I couldn't stay. Hey, Trackside Mike, how's it going, man? Welcome. Happy Third Rail Thursday, my guy. But anyways, long story short, and I see it sagging. And that's because I have my whole sim racing setup, not my whole, half of my sim racing setup stuffed up on top of this module. So I should probably put a little block just to space it out. But anyway, yeah, so I have the same amount of space over here. The only difference being, let's zoom out a smidge. In this area, I don't know if anybody remembers the on-camera train ride I made a couple of years ago, but underneath, the inside is cut out, so the outside is square to match this top piece of plywood, but the center is cut out, so I can kind of poke my head up. With this, it's cut out and it kind of follows this track here, but really this curve that goes into the tunnel is actually 14.5 inches. It's not even 15. And so it actually kind of lines up where this industry is here. And like the track, I mean, instead of going all the way to the back. So like I have a little bit of room, but I'm just worried about installation. And the thing is, I also then have to take the turnouts on, like take them off the layout to drill the hole and everything. It's not even focused. And it doesn't sound like a good time, guys. Like, do you guys ever get that where, you know, you have something and you want to do it, but you also don't want to do it in the same breath, you know? So alternatively, if I don't, and again, I thought about it and I didn't, and I had them in my cart and I didn't from a while ago. But then when I ordered just normal tortoise switch machines, which you can't see. Yeah, so you can't see because it's even covered. But there's two switches back here, right, to get back on the main line to use this as a passing siding, and I know they're there, but nobody else might. And now that I have a shelf here, you can't even go over there to flip them. So I'm definitely going to do those. But the question is, do I do those and do I do the other ones at the same time? You know, because then I can make, because what I do is I make the wiring looms, right? I use the terminal blocks. So that way I can just make, you know, while I'm at it, it's just better and easier to make 4 instead of 2. And I don't know. Thinking about it, it's I'd love to do it. Maybe I should try to do it. Problem is I can't even separate the modules like above. I'm gonna think about that. If I can somehow, I mean, at the end of the day, I did install that other one. As difficult as it was, my wife had to help me. She had to hold it while I did that, while I screwed things in. But I did it. So Wigwag Monster Works kit. Yeah, kind of getting back to that. I don't know how you guys kit bash and stuff. I can barely follow instructions to do the kits. Again, wiring, you know, laying the track, DCC, all that stuff, easy. Scenery, buildings, definitely not. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want to do it, and if I just buy 2 more tortoises, then I kind of have to do it, you know. And again, then because it's like once the switches are up, even if it takes me a while to do it, like trains aren't running. So again, I might I'm tempted to just order 2 more tortoises, and when I finally do feel like doing it, I do all 4. I'm very tempted to do that, guys. I think that but okay, so then if you really want to play that game, I also have a switch behind the engine shed that you can't see, and then this double slip into the yard. That begs the question, do I put tortoises on these? I thought definitely the one behind the engine shed. For the double slip, I kind of thought both because there's like the sanding tower in the water and everything here. So again, you're reaching over. But also if I have one, like that would make sense to me if I had one like this side to control that output, right? Because then it's like a normal switch. But I think that would be really difficult to kind of explain to people. I think it'd be easier to have both sides. You guys are funny. Here I am rambling. That's what I do. I only live stream so often now, so it's okay. It used to be once a month. So I don't know, guys. What do you think? Like, is it worth? Because I would not. The thing is, I have no real need to switch the whole yard. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. I want to keep hand thrown turnouts. I'm fine with that. They're Pico. They've got the springs in them. They work fantastic. They look good. They're perfect fit. I don't want to mess with that. But for the ones who can't reach or can't see properly, I'm tempted. Fretzy, yes. Yeah, that's a really good point. I would assume so. Because there's the same springs in Pico. I don't know where the springs in these are, honestly. I'd have to probably on the bottom. I really would have to look. But I don't know. That's a big job too. I don't know where the cross beams are either. Not that would be a showstopper, especially with the remote mounting. James, what are you talking about? You're gonna outlive us all. Or Dwight, sorry. And then, okay, let's keep going down the rabbit hole, guys. Where did I put? Yes, Mr. M&M Rails gave me this years ago, and I held on to it. It's the DS64, so that controls 4 turnouts. Not that I ever really had the desire to control turnouts via Jamri or even through my Digitrax. But I have it, and I could just get a second module and at least, have those put in. It wouldn't make much sense to do anything with them because everything else is still manual. But I guess the alternative would be I could park something on the main and something in the yard, and I could run around it and do loops and, create a route to do that. Oh, I like watching that guy. Yeah, Fred, I don't know, man. That's the thing, that like it turns because again, doing it after the fact sucks. let's be real. If you're putting things in fresh, pre-drilling the hole and installing the point motor, and no problem, right? Really not a big deal. But unsoldering, drilling, moving a cross member or working in tight spaces, rewiring things, adding, stuff after the fact is just kind of a pain, right? So I don't know. I'm not real. I'm kind of on the fence. They're big jobs, you know. And my only real problem now is those two that I bought the point motors for, to the right of the yard in Cecil, I guess, what, south. But I don't know. I'm gonna think about it because I like the idea. I just don't like the idea of the work. I could probably slave labor Mark or Chris if they ever come over. But hey, Todd, welcome. It is part of the fun, but like, is it like right now? And I guess okay. Let me rephrase. You're right. It is part of the fun. But here's the thing. I'm in the part of the fun that just includes running trains and being social about this. I'm not interested in the project side of things right now. That will change in the future, but right now I just don't feel like it. So do I really want to commit? But I'm also that kind of guy who loves to preemptively buy things so that whenever I feel like it, instead of sitting there and saying, "Oh, I feel like it, let's go and order everything," and then by the time it gets here I don't feel like doing it anymore, then I can just start. I'm trying to get us like I can follow this all the way around the layout. Look at it. Oh, I also got another Mustang for the layout. Showed that off in my video too. I'll show it here in a bit. I'm just gonna. To me, my video seems a little bit framey, like it's choppy, just a smidge. Is it choppy for you guys? Because I had this last time and I had to change browsers. And I mean, I'm not gonna now, but I'll try to remember that for next time. But I don't know if it's just me or not. Because on my camera it's okay, but on StreamYards it's not okay. But I'm not watching myself on YouTube. All right, good enough for the follow around. Let's set up a scene here. There's the Mustangs. Oh, yeah, little Mustang meet with an old truck. Yeah, above the table? No way. I don't have the room, I don't think, to pull that one off. And I'm no good at covering that kind of stuff. The Pico ones are nice. They're not slow motion though. They're well, I'm assuming you're talking about the ones that are prevalent in the UK with Pico. The over ones, they're just solenoid based. I hear they're really, really good. They're just not slow action. Which, I mean, if you don't care, I think you have Atlas right now, Fred, anyway, on a lot of your stuff still, or at least you used to. So it would be probably a more reliable version of that. Mostly Pico. Yeah, I don't know. Questions. There's always more to do, right? That's kind of what I like. I do like. I've got a small little area though, and I'm trying to make full use of it. I want to keep going with the lighting as well, because I do want to. I'd love to do full, not a full day cycle, but maybe emulating um, a couple of days in an op session where you have a job and for quote morning quote, and then you have a job for like evening quote, and the sun goes down, and I don't know. That's just something. I think that would be cool. I got a station hidden back there. So yeah, the station down that we were just watching was Cordova. This is Cecil Station, at Cecil Yard. And then we've got the top one we were checking out earlier, which is Dwayne's Junction, that whole area. So that's the Dwayne's Junction station. So 3 stations for passenger. I did play around with, like, especially at the top, and the bottom here, like at Granny, like, so these 2 industries, the Carpe Diem shipping on the water, and Granny Gladys's goodies. I've played with the idea of dropping like mail off to them, as they may do flyers and stuff like that. And then what you do is you drop the passengers at the station, you disconnect and you shunt the box car. That requires having the box car at the beginning, which I think works as well. I guess that's a good question for you passenger people. Um, would it make, like, I think this looks cool, but I think almost it would make more sense to have the box car directly behind the locomotive, right? Which makes more sense for switching anyway. So maybe I'll try that. But and I'll be happy when I take that double signal out, because I think that'll be nice. Um, I did think about leaving the other one as a double signal, because with this one it doesn't matter, but the other one you do. But I don't think it's prototypical. Oh, hey, from Sweden, how you doing, LGR? Oh my God, James. Yeah. Poor Mark, the guilt, the guilt. Oh, All right. Well, I think we're going to bring the locomotive up to this station. It's just heading into the reversing loop underneath, and it's going to come up, and we will just call it there. It's been about an hour since I went live. I know I technically should start at 8, but some of us need our beauty sleep for work next day. So I'm looking at you, James. Psych, I know you don't work. I'm actually looking at Mark. But thank you, everybody, for stopping by. I really appreciate everybody coming out, chilling, chatting, watching me ramble for like an hour. And yeah, I know I was pretty much on a hiatus there last year. Terrible year. Bunch of stuff. Tree fell on my house, but a couple of deaths in the family that hit me really hard. And so thanks everybody for sticking with me. And I plan to be a little bit more active and keep filling in on these live streams. All right, we're just coming out of the tunnel. You can see see, that's the thing. Like, I can control yellow and green, but because the signal is because I've got the reversing loop override, it's green because the turnout is pointing green. But this makes no sense when the train pulls up in that block and it's still showing green, if that makes sense. And again, I know technically you could say the top one is the block because I can flip that right to red to be prototypical. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with the single spotlight. But thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. And thanks for coming out. I hope everybody has a great Friday, great weekend. I don't know. I think might be Chris next week, and then Mark, and then GVO After Dark. I'm weak. I'll talk for another 20 minutes. Here we come. All right, coming in, the reversing bypass. I don't know if I'll be live, Mike. I'm just kind of filling in at this point. Happy Mother's Day, Chris. All right, guys. Thanks so much for coming out and watching and hanging out and supporting me. Until next time, guys, enjoy your bacon.